Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Hopefully I'm going to grab my phone just in case my audio has a problem during the meeting. All right. So was the meeting properly posted?
Yes,
Yep.
it was.
All right. Item number 3, read and approve agenda for the March 12th, 2021 LEJC meeting. We have a 15-point agenda. I'm going to motion to approve the agenda. All right. I have a motion. Do I have a second to approve the agenda?
Carrie Seaver.
Sorry. Carrie Severson seconds. All right. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have an approved agenda. Item number 4, read and approve minute. Well, no, we'll just approve minutes of the February 12th, 2021 LEJC meeting. Did everyone have a chance to look those over? And if so, I would entertain a motion to approve. Can you guys hear me?
I can. I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Can I have a second? I'll second. All right. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the February 12th meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Item number 5, coroner updates.
I have an email here from Jim. 2 of our present autopsy cases came back with unusual results. 1 death involved the use of inhalants. The decedent was huffing aerosol electronic cleaner, which resulted in a fatal cardiac arrhythmia. The death of this manner is not something our office has dealt with before. The second case was an overdose involving a rare designer drug called, parafluorofentanyl. The medical examiner requested permission to send the blood sample out for further testing at an additional cost of $155 to confirm the presence of the substance. Permission was granted and additional testing did confirm the presence of the drug. This information was shared with law enforcement as there is a concern that the drug is now in our area. Our office assisted at the scene of a motor vehicle involving a fatality on Monday evening. This was the first motor vehicle fatality of the year and the first in the county since May of 2020. Although these cases are difficult, it is a reminder of how fortunate we are to have such a wonderful team of emergency personnel in Richland County. They all help to make our job easier. We are currently at 20 cases for the year. Looking at data from the last 5 years, we were at 19 deaths on this date in 2020, 21 in 2019, and 22 in 2018, and 26 in 2017, and 13 deaths in 2016. Of the 20 deaths thus far, 15 have been cremations, 5 have been traditional burials, half of the cases have been hospice cases. Sincere thanks to everyone for all that you do for the county.
All right, thank you. Item number 6, clerk of court updates.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, did you all get the report that I sent? Okay, all of a sudden I can't hear you. Sorry.
Got the report.
Talking, Stacy.
Yeah, we got the report. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks. Do you have questions?
No, I really appreciated the summary of what's going on in the courtroom.
Yeah, a lot's going on, a lot of good stuff. Looking forward to getting a chance to test some things out next week. We'll have a very busy week next week, but I think that we're we're prepared as much as we can. We just haven't had the chance for the rehearsal before the recital, you know. So we go straight to the recital and hope for the best.
All right, so are you going to be able to be around when they have their trial run to be able to be in the
Yeah.
courtroom?
We'll be available. I don't know that I can dedicate someone to sit there. I mean, we've got now another finance meeting on Monday morning. It's not possible to have someone just sitting there, but we'll definitely make it a highest priority.
Okay.
And I don't think your
won't begin
case
till
actually
Wednesday,
starts
Barb.
till Wednesday. Right.
It's
Your
Wednesday.
original request had asked for Monday, and
Yeah, that trial folded. That was one of Judge Sharp's, and that one is not going. So we have Judge Ryder's trial with the prosecutor from the Attorney General's office. That starts on Wednesday. So Wednesday,
Okay.
Thursday, Friday. Wednesday would be the biggest day. You know, hopefully by the end of that, we would have all kinks kind of worked out.
yeah, because there's no tech support for you on Friday. We've already overstretched for Friday, and there will be none for Friday.
Well, let's hope that by Friday we have a jury close to deliberations. But again, Wednesday is when the trial starts. Most of the stuff will happen then Wednesday, Thursday. You know how trials go. I mean, kind of self-explanatory at that point. But yeah, if we could have, I know, you know, John and Jason, I talked to them last week when we were all up there, and you know, they said we just have to call them. It's just, we'll have enough kind of kinks getting things going that, yeah, I get it. They can't sit in the courtroom, but we're a department that has a great need on Wednesday especially. So if they find out differently that they can allocate somebody up there, I'm sure Judge Ryder and the parties and the jurors and all of us would be just like really appreciative of that.
And we're only ever a phone call or an email away. We will make you the highest priority we can on Wednesday.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Did anyone else have any questions for the clerk of court? All right. Well, thank you, Stacy. As always, I really appreciate the thoroughness of your report every month.
You're welcome.
All right. So that brings us to number 7, the probate department.
Morning, everyone. So
Morning.
I also submitted a brief report just regarding financial information, and you received that as well. Was that a yes?
I'm not actually. I looked for it this morning and I didn't find it in my email. So, but maybe it got lost in my million email messages.
It's in our folder. Yeah, it's in the
Oh,
folder.
okay. I didn't. Oh, I'm
It's in
sorry. Yeah, I forgot to even look there. I'm so used to looking at email. So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, there wasn't too much change. As usual, we're still receiving bills for 2020 from attorneys for both guardian ad litem fees and adversary counsels. So I had submitted a breakdown. So most of this is on the 2020 because those are the bills that are coming in. I did make note, we've had a couple cases that were extremely difficult for children they were actually older kids, 15 and 17, that were difficult cases and just took a lot of time, both with hearings and attorneys finding placement for them, as one had a lot of needs that made the placement hard, and the other one was 17. And so we were really trying to find placement, but those were challenging cases. So just wanted to give you a little insight onto why some of the attorney fees coming in. And I know for a fact that I have not received all of them. I have one attorney that has notified me and said he will be submitting bills. So we should have most of them all in by the end of March. So you can kind of see where 2020 ended up with for a total. But otherwise, the only other thing other than attorney fees that kind of pushed my budget over a little bit was Devin's salary, which again was budgeted from Stacy's, but came out of mine this year. So other than that, I just kind of, it still feels busy, but I'm very glad to have Devin, and things are going well. And Judge Sharp is continuing to do his hearings by Zoom, and he has not received his vaccination yet. So he's kind of holding off on going forward with that until he does, as far as going back to in-person very much. So do you have any questions for me?
Is there any word when the court staff will be allowed to get their vaccination?
I have not heard. Go ahead, Barb.
I'm looking at the list right now. In fact, I was double multitasking. And he should be eligible to go. I'll be releasing another vaccination clinic for next week. So he should be watching for that on the hospital site, because it looks like he would be eligible in the next round.
Okay. I think he was keeping an eye on that as well. He was looking at 3 different places, but the last I knew, he hadn't gotten it anywhere.
All right, is there any questions for Jennifer? All right, well, thank you very much. All right, item number 8, district attorney update. I don't see that she's on. Is that true? So I guess we will move on to item number 9, monthly invoices and other sheriff's department reports.
All right. For February, it looks like our bookings are up slightly again. 53 for the month. Average number of inmates housed, 25.68. Monthly complaints dipped down slightly to 164. Traffic citations as well dropped down a little bit in the month of February, 31. Probably got a little to do with our cold snap. Civil process, 16, and 6 transports for the month. Total calls for service, 350 calls for service, 88 calls for EMS, and 84 calls for the police department. Monthly invoices, nothing too out of the ordinary that I see. The one item number 2 to BANT Communications, that is the portable radios that I had requested to purchase a while back. We have them, they are in service now, but that's what that $5,409 is, was for those 3 portable radios. Any questions?
I would move to approve the bills.
Jerry Severson will second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the bills. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I guess I have one question.
Yes.
Agenda or number 27. What was that all about?
That is, I'm guessing, is a combination of a few different tows. Amber's not in her head, yes. So let's say we request a vehicle towed as a result of a crash or an investigation. We get the bill for that. Yeah, so, okay, here's a tow bill to, they towed one to impound. Repair bill, so that was for a replacement windshield. So 1 tow bill and a replacement windshield from Wagner Auto Service.
And it was
we
our
know-
squad cars that had a broken windshield.
Yeah, one of our squad cars, it was, I believe, Squad 8, went to one of our newest hires, and an initial inspection when we were getting him set up in a squad car. It had a cracked windshield.
Any other questions on the bills? All right, item number 10, potential casual employee new hire.
And he was going to join us, but I told him he'd probably be safe at 9 o'clock, so that's my fault. But we are looking to hire Eric Flansburgh. Eric is a former Vernon County deputy. He currently is not working anywhere in law enforcement. He's working construction. Interested in getting back into law enforcement and keeping his certifications. I think he's got about 12 or 13 years of experience working not only for Vernon County, but several other agencies. His longest, I think, period of employment was with Vernon County. He would be, also he's dual certified. He is a certified law enforcement officer and a certified jailer, so he could fill both roles for us.
That seems like a good option.
You were breaking up on my end. What was the name again?
Eric Flansburgh.
You familiar with Eric?
I've known Eric.
Yeah. I think he finished working up there. Carrie.
I'm just saying, I've known Eric. I worked with his dad with the DNR, but anyway, he used to be an Explorer Scout with the fire department also in Richland Center.
Yeah, I think he finished in Vernon County. I think he got bit by an inmate and was out for quite some time. I think he had a hand injury on the job.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
But he seems like that would be a great fit for what we need. So you've already offered, and he's going to take the position as a casual.
Yes, he sounds interested. He kind of reached out to me. I had mentioned we may be making some casual hires. He was in the last round of applicants, and I had mentioned to him that we were going to be looking at getting some more casuals hired, and he had reached out to me that he was interested. So I just wanted to bring it before you guys.
Sounds good. We don't need to take any action on that, though, do we?
I think you just
have permission to hire casuals already. So.
I just think we need to bring at least the name before you guys before we do it, I believe. So,
okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. So item number 11, permission to spend money from the 2021 Capital Improvement Fund to pay for and build squads.
So when we were budgeting for this year, last year, I believe the figure we had with Clint was $130,000. I don't know that that's finalized. I need to reach out to Clint on that. But the number, at least in his last spreadsheet he sent me, was $130,000. Looking to get permission to spend up to $130,000 to build and outfit 2 squad vehicles. I guess I'm looking for permission to take this to finance and personnel for approval. That seemed to work out really well last year, where I was approved to spend up to this much money to complete the project, and hoping that'll work this year as well.
So the 2 Ford Explorers from the last meeting, those were from the 2020 borrowing money, correct? And then these would be.
So actually, yeah, those were from this money. We've spent.
Oh, okay.
So those have been ordered. I want to make sure I'm able to pay for them when they get here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, so what you're looking for is a motion to allow you to use the capital improvement funds.
I believe Clint has something to say. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, there's Clint. Okay.
I wanted to just say that yes, on the short-term capital improvement, the apportionment was $130,000, and that can be accessed. You can see it off of the Maine County website. If you go to the administrator's website, go underneath the policy drop down, you'll see the short-term financing policy, and underneath there, the appropriations are listed that was approved by the county board. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, so I'm looking for a motion to approve this and so that we can send it on to finance and personnel.
Carrie Severson will move.
All right, I have a motion by Severson. Is that a second from Cosgrove? Sure. All right. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, you can send that on to finance. Item number 12, radio tower project updates.
Maybe Barb can speak to this too, but I know I believe the budget went, or not the budget, the contract went out yesterday.
It sort of did. There is an addendum that has to be approved that goes on to the contract. And so I took the addendum, sent it to Mike Day for his verification that that was going to be okay with him. And I'm waiting to hear back from him, as I have not heard back. As soon as we hear back, it's ready to rock and roll. Clinton, I don't know if he can hear me. I know he's back there. I had forwarded the addendum and the contract both to him, and I assume that, yep, they're both good. So we're just waiting on confirmation from Mike Day, and then we'll be ready to proceed. Also, I suppose now would probably be a good time to bring it up, Clay.
Yeah, we're the next item. It's going to cover both kind of. It's been a rough week with the radio system. We've had 4 failures, I believe we're up to this week already now. Starting Sunday night, Monday morning, and then through the week. Actually, one of the failures happened right at the time of that traffic fatality. I don't think wouldn't have changed the result of the crash.
Not at all.
But unfortunate timing that it happened right then. We had issues either with officers being heard by dispatch or dispatch hearing officers. It seemed to change which way it went, right up to pretty much a total failure on what night was that, Barb? Thursday night or Wednesday night?
Yep, and it was good timing. We happened to catch it right away, and we were able to come to the conclusion it was only like 4 hours, but it takes that long to find the problem. And only 4 hours when you're talking officer safety and you're talking, dispatch is a long time.
So we did have a kind of a plan B, a backup plan that was working, but it's certainly not the most efficient way to run a dispatch center. There's a backup radio in there that basically it looks like a mobile radio in one of our squad cars. But it's not by any means an efficient way of running a dispatch center. But it worked, and it got us by when our dispatch council was down. So I think we're running into that area where I kind of have been hinting at the last couple of meetings where these gremlins are getting to be to the point where we may have to look at replacing our dispatch councils midstream in this radio project. And hopefully we can work together with the consultant to find something to replace it with that we can build a radio system around. But my fear is that we're not going to be very far into this project and we're going to have to replace the radio console. We might already be there. We haven't had any problems since Jason's last fix, but we're only closing in on 24 hours since his last fix. So, so far it's holding together. Hopefully it keeps holding together.
So all of the issues you were having had to do with the dispatch console, not the towers or anything off in the rest of the county?
No problems with the tower equipment so far. It's been the council. the council that's been giving us issues. The council and the you know, the equipment to go with that in the building here has been the issue.
Is that dispatch council one of those that we got from another county?
Yeah, we got it.
Or something?
We got it used from LaCrosse County a few years
Okay,
ago.
that's what I thought. All right. So do we have any idea of what kind of dollar figures are attached to replacing a console?
I had some figures, and if I gave you a number, it would because they're not in front of me, it would be strictly a guess. So
We don't
$1
want to
million?
do that.
No,
we don't
no,
wanna,
not really.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to jump that far ahead because all of these pieces are so integrated that we really, we do want to replace the dispatch console first, but we want to do it in a manner that we know we're linking so that we don't push out anybody. One of the options is a digital, totally IP-based console. We don't want to do that because that's going to force other agencies to go IP and cost them money. We've got to make sure we're doing this slowly and methodically, even though we're in a hurry and we need it yesterday. We've got to do it to make sure.
Right. That all makes perfect sense to me, but my question is if it completely dies, what plan do we have if it is not fixable before all these other pieces are in place?
Baycom has told us, and this is what came back from them, they have enough pieces to keep us up and running until we get a new one. I have to have faith that they truly do. I don't know that, and we just say a prayer every night.
So when we got this used system, there was an agreement with Baycom that they were going to keep, because we got two of several consoles. There was an agreement that Baycom was going to store, you know, replacement parts for this for X amount of time. Now I think that time period has probably lapsed, but from the sounds of it, maybe they still have that stuff on hand. So I'm guessing that's where the spare parts are coming from.
So I guess my only concern would be that, you know, we probably need to have some kind of backup plan if they can't fix it, though. I mean, how long can you go without a dispatch console? So are you saying your radio system would be a backup system you could use for weeks or days until we could get the system replaced?
It wouldn't be realistic to run a dispatch center on that for much more than a few hours. It's, you know, it's just not an intuitive way of communicating with people. Not especially when you have to start communicating with several people at once. It's not a good option.
But we can make it work until they can get here.
Exactly.
And honestly, every radio vendor has a 4 to 5 hour window. And so they would come and hopefully be able to get us back up, you know, within that 8 hours.
Okay. So can we just quick talk about the timeline of, just as a reminder? So we have True North hired to do this evaluation. And we just are sending them the contract now? Is that what, Barb? That's what you said? You just sent them the contract yesterday and there's an addendum? So when do we anticipate that their work will begin and end with them just getting the contract now?
45 days.
Okay.
So they were quick. They thought that they would have it, and they actually have a shorter timeline than that. We'll leave it at 45 days.
Okay. So, and that 45 days starts today?
The day the contract is signed, which we're all authorized for Clinton to sign it as soon as they say, yes, the addendum is fine.
Okay.
So I would anticipate Monday.
All right. So,
but here's the other caveat that we were hoping to be able to stretch till 2022 because the money for the borrowing isn't there until 2022.
Right.
I mean, obviously you as a board can make decisions that have to be made, and that's where it falls to. But we were hoping not to have to implement until 2022, and I don't think that's realistic anymore.
So I think might be really helpful is, can you write up a brief, either Clay or Barb, can you write up a brief description of what happened this week and what the impacts are?
I can forward you Jason's email. It's already done.
Okay, thank you. Because I think this, I mean, this is pretty scary stuff that we would not be able to respond or not be able to communicate during an emergency when someone's life is at stake. So I think we need to have that information. So, because we just talked about this in our strategic planning session on Wednesday night, and I brought up the radio tower system, and we had long discussions. And one of the questions asked was, well, what is public, who's affected and how are they affected, and is it a public safety issue? And well, obviously. So, but having this kind of data and keeping track of this kind of information is what we're going to need in order to be able to make the statement about how critical this system is, and it not working is an incredible liability and not to mention lives at risk. So if you could forward that to me, I would appreciate that.
Yep.
All right. So what we're hoping then is that in the next 45 days, they will be meeting. What will be happening is they will be meeting with all of the relevant people. They will be evaluating our towers. And so in 45 days, they're supposed to come back to us with what we need to do, correct?
Yep, we come back to phase 1, and then we can enter phase 2 if the committee so chooses, that they give us the plan for this is what we need to do. This is how you move forward, and these are the specs you need to put out. And they can certainly do that. We had just hoped to push, and we had the actual, if Clinton's close, hopefully he'll tell us, we have money to do that within the borrowed money.
Right.
To do phase 2.
Yeah, we had enough money to get through phase 2, correct? With what we borrowed this time.
Yep, that's what I remember. So I think that we can go ahead and move to phase 2. It would be appropriate.
Okay, I see Clint in the background.
You have a portion 45,000.
Okay, which I believe would be enough to get us through.
45,000.
And phase 1 was only 24.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. I mean, obviously it's good that this is moving forward. I think we want to make sure they get going as quickly as possible here so that we at least know where we're at and what we need to do. All right. Anything further on the radio tower project?
I don't believe so.
No.
All right. So mapping radio system and squad updates, item number 13.
Barb, I don't know if you have anything to comment on mapping. I know there was a meeting last week regarding mapping. I'll let you go if you have something to say.
It was very informative. We have a lot of work we've got to do. I don't know that we really need to have a subgroup meeting, I think, with just how we're going to proceed with this. Lynn has a lot of questions, and rightfully so. The biggest question, and it's not just Richland County, it's nationwide. How, now that we've gone past landlines, houses that are being built are no longer getting an MSEG number from the phone companies because they're not getting landlines. So how are we getting that addressing into our PSAPs? Traditionally, the Verizons, the Frontiers, the Genuines were doing it. They're not getting those services anymore. So how are we getting those into our PSAPs? That's a realistic question that's all over the place. It's not just a Richland County question. And that's one of the things we have to look at. Then there's a lot of question with the new 911, the next gen stuff. The way that we've put our data out there, we had our data analyzed. There's a lot of work to be done, and we've got to get it cleaned up. And I'm not sure. Lynn has bids from one company that was recommended by the group from the state to have them clean up the data. They're doing it for most counties. Then she took it also back to the company she generally works with and asked them to quote it. I don't know that she's gotten anything back. I guess I have reservations about that. If you have a company that's what they do, is clean up the data for 911, and they do it regularly for all the other counties, they're doing it right to the spec, where the company she normally works with has never done it before. I'm not sure that's the, I know we're comfortable with working those we work with. They're good company, but if they haven't done it before, I don't know if that's the best choice.
So by clean up the data, do you mean that it's cleaning up like fire numbers, making sure that they're actually in the place that we think they are, or?
Nope, it's when you, it's when you parse out an address, how do I explain this? If it's 311 North South, East South Street, because we have a North and East South Street in Richland Center, you have to parse out that the street name is actually south, the directional is east, and the house number is 311. And then that goes into a database. So when it comes up on the 911 screen, if it's a text from that address, if it's a phone call from that address, if it's an IP phone call from that address, that it comes up on populates on their screen, so they know where to send the proper authorities and what, if it's Richland EMS or Viola EMS. There are several streets. I think it's Jefferson is in several different cities. So you have to be able to, when you get an address on Jefferson Street, be able to parse out which Jefferson Street that address is. Is it the one in Boaz? Is it the one in Richland Center? Is it the one in, I don't know if Lone Rock has one or not. But it's that kind of addressing that we have to be able to pull in and then be able to send the proper.
This has to do with cell phone calls, right? When we get a cell phone call into dispatch, being able to locate from them just without them telling you the address, but just from them making the phone call.
Or if they send a text, you know, saying I'm being held hostage, you can't call them back. You can't have a phone conversation.
Okay.
It's about that kind of location.
All right. But the new 911 system we have, the reason that we're coming up with this is because our old system couldn't do this at all. And now this new system can, but we just need to figure out how to make it work right.
Yeah. And with any data system, if you have not clean data in, you're going to have not clean data out.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll keep plugging away at that kind of stuff, huh? Was there grant money associated with being able to figure this stuff out? Maybe.
Yeah.
Not officially yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Any other questions? So one of the things I just want to mention on the squad updates is just I was looking at your mileage chart that you just sent us, and you know we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vehicles over 100,000 miles. I mean, I know everyone keeps thinking that we've been doing nothing but buying squad cars, but obviously we're just not there yet where we can just not replace them. So I mean, I would assume that the miles are not piling on quite as fast now that we have.
No, not nearly as fast now.
So things should slow down. At some point, we'll get caught up.
Yeah.
Did you want, is that Eric that just joined us? Did you want to introduce?
Yeah, he did just join us. And my apologies, Eric. I told you 9 o'clock. You were on by 9 o'clock, but we were past that agenda item. But if you'd like to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Let me see, is my mic working okay?
Yep.
I know a few of you, Eric. I talked to Clay about coming on part-time. Was hoping that was a possibility to work with your guys' department and hopefully eventually get back there sometime, maybe even full-time back in my home area there. Right now I reside in Viroqua. There's not a whole lot to really say about me, but I somehow lost everybody's picture here somehow.
Well, you'll be glad to know that we did. We were all in agreement that you'd make a great casual hire.
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate looking forward to working with you guys.
Thank you.
Is it okay to clock off here, Clay, or?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay,
Thanks for
thank
joining
you,
us.
guys.
All right, so now I asked Amber to add item number 14, future agenda items, just because I kind of come with ideas of things we need to talk about, but I wanted to make sure that other committee members had the opportunity to let me know things that they would like to talk about in this committee. One thing I just want to make sure everyone's aware of, when we talk about future agenda items, we cannot discuss them. All we can do is say what we would like to be on a future agenda. Discussion is not allowed because the idea itself is not on this agenda. So, I mean, I'll start with one of the things that I'm not sure we're ready yet, but I really would like to have a 2020 budget review with the Sheriff's Department. I'm not sure the accounting supervisor has caught up enough, but I'm hoping by April we maybe could have a discussion about where we underspent, where we overspent, and really just kind of at the big picture of where we ended up at the end of the year, so that as we go into our 2022 budget planning, we can talk about what categories we're always over or under budgeting, and try to have some in-depth conversation about those budget items. If that would be agreeable, that is what I would like for sure on the next agenda. Unless the county supervisor is not in a place where he has that, if he doesn't have all that stuff caught up yet, which is very possible, then we would push it to May. All right. Does any other committee member have any other items they'd like to talk about on the next meeting?
GPS tracking
GPS tracking, okay.
in the squad car.
So.
Okay. We can't discuss it. So
Yeah.
I mean, we'll put it on there and we can have the discussion on the next. I know it's really hard. It's very tempting to just start talking about it, but we just have to be really careful with the open meeting laws that we don't discuss it. All right. So Chad or Dan, did you guys have anything you wanted added to the next agenda?
Anything great?
Could I touch one more thing on?
Okay, thanks, Dan. What, Clay?
Could I touch one more thing on item 13, the squad updates?
Yeah, for sure.
I just wanted to mention we did have a squad versus deer in the last month. It was one of our squads that doesn't have the push guard on it. So it appears that vehicle will be totaled. I'm waiting to hear from the total loss adjuster on that. But it appears that one will be totaled. So that may actually free us up to get another car this year.
That would be the insurance vehicle?
Yep. Unless something changed with our policy, we have total replacement value for our insurance. So we should be able to get one paid for by insurance and then get an additional with the budgeted money.
So do we still have, we have the high deductible now, right? Is it 5,000?
Yes, 5,000.
Are we already over in that budget line, I think? Or no, because it's 2021. So we have, this is our first one, our first claim in 2021? Hopefully.
It might be.
Yeah, it might be actually. I think it is our first claim.
Because I know we had at least one, if not two, in 2020.
Yeah.
But I don't remember there being one in this. But okay, because that will be our budgeting item in our deductible line, is because it's so high now. It might have to be beefed up a little bit, but.
Yes. Yep. Correct.
Okay. All right. So I think we're to item number 15, adjournment. I was thinking that we would in April be able to start having our meetings in person again in the courtroom. I mean, many people will be vaccinated. I think we'd still have to wear a mask, but we could at least meet in person unless anyone is opposed to that. No?
Vaccinated by then?
Well, I don't know that I won't probably be. Well, I don't know. I guess I certainly don't meet any criteria so far to get vaccinated. So I would still ask that people wear their masks until we can all be vaccinated, but But does anyone have any objection to meeting in person?
I would love to meet in person.
Yeah, I know. I definitely agree. So, okay. So we plan on meeting in the county boardroom, and I didn't look at the date. Does anyone know what the date would be?
April 9th.
April 9th. All right. So with that, I would adjourn to April 9th in the county boardroom. Do I have a motion?
Gotta move.
Have a second?
I'll second, Dan.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.